Venashuva, the Manchester Eicha project. As we head into Shabbat Chazon, we are very honored to begin the fourth parak with Rav Nadav.
Parak Daled of Eicha, the fourth chapter of Eicha, starts with the word Eicha like the previous three, and also follows the psukim follow the order of the Aleph Bet. Just a quick introduction. This chapter actually deals with the after effects, the results of the Khurban, the destruction, tries to give reasons for it, why the Bnei Israel should have suffered so badly, and also with Nechama, with comfort, trying to say Yisurin Mechaprim, suffering purifies and atones, and the enemies will actually receive their just retribution. Pasuk Aleph starts with Eicha Am Zahav, and I won't read all of them, all of the psukim in full, because we don't have a lot of time, but to give you a flavor, Eicha Am Zahav, how has the gold become dim or lost its shine? And the comparison shows that it's actually talking about the Bnei Israel, Bnei Tzion Hayikarim, Pasuk starts, Mesulaim Bapaz, who have been compared to gold. It's talking about the destruction of the Jewish people. Avnei Kodesh Barosh Kol Chotzot. The end of Pasuk Aleph is referring to the Bet HaMikdash, that stones were strewn all over the place. And it continues, actually, Psukim Gimel, Daled, and Hey are actually following one theme: the lack of compassion, the lack of care for one another, even of Bat Amila Achzar in Pasuk Gimel is referring to the daughter of my people, right? A daughter, a woman in Am Yisrael, in Klal Yisrael, actually has had to become, or has become cruel, not even like the ostriches in the wilderness, not even able to feed her children, even as the jackals do. And the jackals are obviously not a positive image. The children in Pasuk Daled who beg for bread, no one is giving it to them, and even those who used to eat delicacies are now Nashamu Bachotzot, they're desolate out in the streets, and those who wore fineries, Chibeku Ashpatot, have been reduced to going and finding their food in the rubbish dumps. And all of this shows a lack of compassion amongst Klal Yisrael and how awful the situation is for the people, and no one cares about someone else who doesn't have. Vayigdal avon bat ami mechatat Sodom. It's even worse than Sodom. The sin, the great transgression that caused the destruction of Israel and the Bet HaMikdash. It's even worse than Sodom. Sodom was destroyed in one moment. The Bnei Israel had the opportunity to do teshuvah. Sodom, according to another explanation, hadn't been given the Torah. They behaved awfully, so they had a short punishment because they couldn't have known better. But Bnei Israel should have known better. And that is V'lo chalu bayadayim. There was no even time for anyone to put up arms, to take up arms, or to lift a hand to say, hey, what's going on here? Zakun Zira Misheleg, this seems to be a cause for all of this, a cause for the destruction. The princely people, the Nezirah, the people who separated themselves, Zakun Nezira Misheleg, they were purer, whiter than snow. Tzachu Mechalav, they were even whiter than milk. Actually, though, the pasuk ends, Adamu etzem mipeninim, inside their etzem, their bones, their internal structure, who they were on the inside, actually was redder than rubies. And this imagery of precious stones is continued, although this time as an ironic statement. On these psukim, Gimel, Daled, Hey, and this explanation of Zayin, the Midrash Rabbah commenting on this quotes the story actually of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. And it says because of that it was destroyed. And so we have to understand from Chazal and from in this Midrash, explaining that actually this is the cause, a lack of compassion. And I don't want to go into the story, we don't have time to go into the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, but it was a story of lack of compassion. And just the names themselves, they are related. They might have been father and son, Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Kamsa and the son of Kamsa. But actually, even better, it could have been Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Bar in Aramaic is not. It was just, he bothered him because he was not his friend. He wanted his friends there and not anyone else. And this Bar Kamsa was just not Kamsa. He wanted his friends there and he didn't care to have compassion on anyone else. This lesson is true for us today, I believe. We can learn from it and it's still important. And we, truthfully, in our situation, this year we've learned compassion for others, whether we know them, whether we don't know them, whether we see them, whether we don't see them. We've learned the opportunities under lockdown to be able to help people with whatever needs that they may have. And that hopefully is the beginning of the Geulah.